never knew this, but Mentos has drinks. Look at how cool this is. And so does Chupa Chups. I've never heard of any of these. So I have made it to Kutaisi International Airport, and it looks absolutely stunning. Here you have modern equipment, modern cameras, modern parking lots, a nice beautiful glass facade, and some sharp-edged architecture. A thing I find interesting is this furniture on the outside. It's all made of these cast concrete blocks, including the garbage cans and the rest of the furniture. This area in general, especially this airport, focuses a lot on sharp geometric angles, as you can see by the roof. There are a lot of straight lines, corners, and edges and angles everywhere. I really like it. But most importantly, you have some interesting dogs. Oh, and here's a little puppy. This puppy follows everyone around, and he's so excited to meet everyone. He was greeting everyone when we hopped off. It's like he's a greeter. He's so eager. Absolutely awesome. Hey. Oh, no, not that. That's mine. Hey. What are you doing? Why are you up at 2 a.m.? Such a sweet little dog, aren't you? Oh, hey. I did some searching for my entrance, and it was all for naught, because actually, for some reason, everyone had to enter through the arrivals section. But when I entered the airport, I was pleasantly surprised with quite a modern and fresh-looking airport for a moderately sized city. The paneling on the roof features an iron welding in a triangular shape. There is a large emphasis on triangles in this interior, and it really helps lighten the atmosphere despite its sharp angles. As you can see, the airport does have a large focus on sharp angles, but it does contribute to the modern look. It seems to also have all the firefighting systems and all the modern standards of technology required for an international airport. What I personally was a big fan of was the large open layout, contributing to a very nice open feeling, almost as if you are in some large hall or even outside. Despite the building's small size relative to other international airports that have destinations such as this one, it still keeps that very official and large atmosphere. While we wait for our flight, how about let's take a look around this wonderful airport. Let's start out with the amenities and products you can buy, otherwise known as just things you can do while waiting for your flight. You could be like me and inspect the baggage conveyors, but I assume that you'll want to do more normal things. Let's start with one of the most prominent areas of the interior, which is this raised terrace area with stairs and an escalator and an overlook onto the building in general. A very interesting observation I made about this deck is that it has an escalator in one direction, but in the other direction it has stairs. I'd say that this is a very smart way of conserving budget, as it is obviously more desirable to go down on stairs rather than up. This elevated area provides a wonderful overlook onto the entire departures terminal. A small detail I loved was this raised ceiling area above the platform. This keeps a high ceiling feeling to what would otherwise be a very low area if they retained the standard terminal ceiling height as seen in this overlook. It also adapts this wood color. In case you haven't noticed, this terminal adapts a lot more cream colors than just plain white, adding lots of character and this natural wood feeling. Aside from that, this raised area also has a bar where you can get drinks and some places to sit and lay down while waiting for your flight. There's also a selection of mini markets and grocery stores to choose from. And for an international airport, the prices here are very reasonable. This grocery store, Smart, contains ready-to-eat sandwiches and meals and a small bakery, which is lovely. And once again, the prices are very reasonable for an international airport that goes to such prominent destinations. And besides this store, there's also a Miniso in the main hall, where I took the shots of the plushies. It's not very common to see such good selections of pastries and baked goods at an airport of this size. I got the most gourmet out of these foods, though. And last but not least, there of course is a bathroom for you to use. The toilets are cleaner than I've seen in other places, and I really enjoy this tile design with this grayscale layout. The grayscale really makes it feel pretty nice and smooth, especially with its matte look. It looks very modern and sleek, and that's what they were definitely going for. My stall didn't have any toilet paper, and I also liked how it felt like a cocoon. I felt like I was in my own room. It also has coat racks in case you want to change. Next to the security area is a prohibited items display, which includes various items that of course are prohibited. This includes knives, guns, bullets, hammers, and various other objects that of course are not allowed on planes. I personally really like these. Every time I go to an airport, I always check these out just to see what creative style that the airport designers put in, because it's different at every airport. The security area has a lovely design, I must say, compared to other airports I have visited. It has a cream roof bar design and a very nice wooden touch to it. That includes this wooden color on the frosted glass and these lovely floor tiles that really differentiate it from the white floor tiles you see in the rest of the terminal. After the check-in and security area, you have this hall that has a subway and another cafe, including this really cool outdoor area that I didn't film because it just reeked of cigarettes and I had to get out of there. My flight to Budapest was a direct Kutaisi-Budapest flight on an Airbus A321 that did 29 flights in the last week. The way they can get so many flights done in such a short amount of time has to do with the way the flights are conducted. They are able to do multiple flights in a single day. Yes, in a single day. This is made possible because they do not serve food, which allows for little to no cleaning on the plane, which takes the most time. And after multiple hours and it being an early morning, I was hungry. Spar at the Hungarian airport. Look at all the people waiting for Spar. Fantastic. You even have the Doohickey Deluxe. It is currently 6 a.m. and the Spar has just opened. First time I've ever gone to a Spar opening in my life. And it was just one of the best feelings, finally getting off from multiple hours of traveling to finally get some food and relax. It seems like they also have some kind of wall insulation chips. Are these good? Please let me know. And after I got my food, the sun just started to come out, and oh my goodness, what a beautiful view. So I'm going to eat my food and then get tickets to the bus to go downtown. That's the 200E, an airport local route, an articulated Mercedes-Benz. And this is the 100E. This is the 100E, an articulated Man-Lion City diesel. Look at that. See, two pulling in behind each other. We have two 100Es. And so this is the route that we will be taking from the airport to downtown. These are the same new buses that we just got in my home city of Tbilisi. And then over here you have services like Flixbus as well, which shuttle people from areas around the city to the airport. But we're going to be using the public transport option. We have this, let's tap this. Okay, so main language is English. From the front and you press the pay button. I think it's dropped us our 2 tickets here. Boom. 2 new tickets. You can see the sky ripe with red sun as I got my public transport tickets, and we are headed on this wonderful Man-Lion City 18 diesel. The trip takes 40 minutes. It is an express bus with no intermediate stops from the airport all the way to the old town. This combo I got at Spar is really good though. I really like this. Here's another regional station. Look at that. Awesome. You can see the stops, shelters. Here we get a good view of it. Electrified rail, regional, fast, frequent. We have a crossing over here, and that means a train is coming soon. I'm excited to see what it is. Look at that. A Stadler Kiss, double-decker EMU. I didn't know they had these out here. I thought they just had Stadler Flirts, but look, they have Flirts and Kisses. You see the first commie blocks in the distance. We're getting into Budapest now. Look at this, we have Citaros. They also have 12-meter Citaros and Man-Lion City. Look at this, 200E. $136. It's like a BRT center right here. Look at all these buses. More buses. So this is like this is a mall, it looks like. Tesco. They have Tesco? No way. Look at this beautiful tramway. And this beautiful building. Both these tram lanes separated by a green boulevard. We have 3 metro lines congregating, a tram stop, and we have the Budapest Eye. All right. These are the bus stop boards here. They're a bit different. You can see that they have a glass cover and they are in the color yellow. And over here we have a tram stop. Trolley bus, tram, mainline city, 18-meter bus, and a metro. Beautiful. Look at this beautiful street. New logistics cars, which is always refreshing, and a raised crosswalk. Look at the pigeon using it. See, it's mobility for everyone. The pigeon didn't have to jump. And it's raised and it's really nice. Look at this. They have a bike lane and then they separate it and they have a turning lane so they can separate the traffic. So I was here looking at the metro and buses. And especially at this beautiful church, what seems to be, with this magnificent architecture and a square around it. And you will never believe what I found. Khachapuri restaurant. A Georgian restaurant. I just came from Georgia, now I have a Georgian restaurant. I want Georgian food. Here in the center of Budapest.
And then while looking for an underpass to cross the street, I accidentally came across what I've been waiting for. The Budapest Metro M1 line.
And so I didn't even know this was, I just didn't know what this was. But this is the station. Because I was just walking and I saw the metro entrance and I was like, this is the M1 line. So we got down and I see the M1 line. It's fantastic. It's such a piece of European metro history. You can see how 1800s it looks. You would have everyone walking down here in their top hats and canes with pipes in mouth. Fantastic.
What I was most surprised by, despite it being the center of the city, was just how quiet and tranquil it was. You could go basically anywhere and you wouldn't hear honking or extremely loud noises. A lot of the streets are pedestrianized.
That's St. Stephen's Cathedral, the centerpiece of Budapest. There will be more on that later. The neoclassical roots of the cathedral are also carried out to the area around, being pedestrianized with beautiful buildings, just like the good old days. These shots are specifically from the famous Zrínyi Street. Let's check out more. These old buildings instead of leaving them to rot. Just so you guys know, this documentary is more of a vlog, as I will actually be releasing a series on the things I see in Budapest. I will be diving deeper. This stuff is just more of a general gaze at what I saw. That's a road intersecting the street, and this is the street.
You'll notice that it is decently wide and it has drainage on the sides. It uses some tile and it has a variation for some decoration.
Another thing you'll notice is how well kept the buildings are. Every window looks brand new and the paintwork is very consistent. What I also appreciate is how a lot of the buildings have similar coloring so that the building doesn't stick out extremely. They all have either a beige or a brown range of colors. I assume there's some kind of zoning law. The street, of course, has some intersecting roads, but they are very well organized. With crosswalks, pedestrians get the right of way, and tactile strips and bollards are deployed everywhere for ease of use.
Ooh, and also, funny statue guy. I assume this has something to do with the police or military, as the helmet kind of gives it away and it looks like he's in uniform, but I don't know the symbolism behind the statue. But if you do know, please let me know in the comments below. I'm very curious. A detail I appreciated so much is the fact that this is a people-only zone. In a lot of other cities, if you try to go to a people-only zone, it will be overrun by cyclists, people zipping by on electric scooters, and delivery drivers. So it's really pleasant just being able to walk in an urban environment while keeping your guard down. This is a concept that needs to be enforced more. Here you can see buildings being actively maintained with a painting crew. They even have safety equipment on. And what else you can notice about this street is that even the modern buildings still have a code that allows them to fit in decently. As I turn around here, you'll notice on this really classic looking street, you do have newer buildings, but they don't drag attention away from these beautiful classical buildings. They just kind of stay neutral, and on the first floor, you don't even really notice they're modern. You have to look for it. Look at that funny bus. Speaking of buses, the bus lane here is separated physically. And look at this stunning waterfront with the bridge and the parliament and the castle. And over here you have more beautiful buildings and a statue and a lovely square with another statue and some more beautiful buildings. So over here we have the funicular and we have the tram. And so that was tram route number 2, the scenic tram that goes along the coast here, or the riverfront. And you can see the entirety of the area. And it gets even better, because besides the trams, I now have an epic chain bridge to explore. The bridge was absolutely immaculate, restored after World War II, and built between 1839 and 1849 under the order of Count Istvan. If you center in on the bridge a bit, you can notice a few details. For example, the lions installed in 1852, which were later an inspiration for the lions in Trafalgar Square, London. Pretty cool fact. When installed, it was also the first permanent bridge in Budapest, and it had the longest center span in the world at 202 meters. And look at this, a view over the mighty Danube, the second longest river in Europe, spanning at over 2,800 kilometers. What makes this city even better? Trams. An explainer video can be for something separate, so I'll just be talking about the cool things about the Budapest tram network, stuff that I really liked. First thing I do love is really the different situations you see trams in. You can see them on bridges, promenades, and occasionally underground.
Something else I appreciate are the immense amount of steps taken to ensure that trams get their own right-of-way. Here you can see it fully separated from the road and completely fenced off, so it's uninterrupted. This trip being a while ago, I don't strongly remember it, but thankfully I talked a lot when I filmed these.
Red signal because of the crosswalk. I do really like these trams. It's like it has a little face. It has the eyebrows and the eyes. Then the coupler strap makes it look like it has a little face. And here it goes accelerating once again off the red signal. And then you also have the tram up there on the bridge. I'm really liking this city so far. It has a lot of charm and character. And so over here, we have the Budapest tram signaling system. You have 3 dots, 2 dots, and 1 dots, all of one white color. You can see them switching here. 2, 1, and 3, from the bottom to the top. Very interesting. If anyone knows what they mean, please let me know in the comments down below. If you're from Budapest, I'm really liking your city so far. So over here you have a very nice pedestrianized area with a bike lane. And what I love about this bike lane is that it's painted red. Oh boy, here comes a tram, a Café Urbos 3. Shooting by like an arrow, look at it. One of the most modern trams on the European market. On one of the lines here, they run a 9-section variant of it. But anyways, when the bike lane splits, it turns gray because people don't need to know anymore that it's a bike lane. Here, it's painted red so that it's apparent. But what I love is that it's separated by a green strip. Instead of just pushing the green strip to the side and putting the bike lane and the pedestrian lane together, they separated them like this, which makes it really nice. Because when they're together, I find it very frustrating because people are always walking in the bike lane when I'm biking. So it keeps the modes separate and nice, including a nice fence, as you see, car, tram, bike, walking, and boat. They're all nice and separated and parallel.
Also a very cool curve here onto the promenade. And you know, with my love for trams and beautiful, beautiful terrain features, I must speak more on this promenade that they have on the riverfront. First things first, you do see the roadway on the riverfront, and this was something I typically expect because where I live, they don't even have a place for people to walk. They have a 1-meter wide sidewalk and a 6-lane road right next to the riverfront, so this is far better than what I'm used to. But still, let's talk a bit about it. Despite the road, it's still not as bad as you think it is, and here is why.
And over here we have the funny bus from earlier. Look at that, it looks like there's a bus making its way through the water, going towards the Parliament building. What a sight this is.
The promenade still is kind of pleasant because it does have an elevated tier. It uses a 2-tier method where the roadway sits lower and the walkway sits higher. So in a sense, it's kind of out of sight, out of mind. You don't really pay attention to the cars much when you're walking, unlike in other places where they're flush with each other. Another thing that makes the promenade super friendly to everyone is firstly, its access to the city from there, and the fact that city residents can also access the promenade easily. And it also has connections to the suburban railway, so you could go out of the city. And along with that, the trams here go parallel to the water, so they act as a walking accelerator for those that cannot walk easily along the promenade, for example, elderly people. Anyways, back to the trams. Here's a cool shot I took. I felt super creative with this one. Now imagine what a weapon my cinematography would be if my camera could actually focus. Another thing I love about the tram network in Budapest is that there is a tram for everyone. From very old trams to an extent to very new modern trams. and trams somewhere in the middle that have some of the quirks and gimmicks of old trams, but also some of the technologies that new trams possess.
Once again, the common theme of my camera absolutely bugging out, but you can see the cool pantographs that the old trams have, and it is quite missed in a lot of places that have very frequent fleet replacements.
And personally, I see that Budapest might be wanting to keep their old trams for the sake of character and city charm, as a lot of the old trams are modernized very well and they seem to be keeping them for many years to come. Hopefully that is the case. As I headed up north, I noticed the Siemens Combino platform trams running, and I was infatuated. They look just like the ones in Amsterdam because they're part of the same platform. It's cool to see the cross-compatibility work out well. The length is a whopping 6 units on this one, and this was the longest tram I've ever seen up to this point, so of course I was impressed.
And so these are the long trams. And that's an articulated bus.
I'll spare you the loud automobile noise, but it was not pleasant standing here at all. But on a side note, the little smile on the tram fronts and rears do make things a little better. Another pleasing thing is that wrapping is not present on the windows. You can see that the ads stay off the windows, something very nice because having your view blocked by an ad is not pleasant. Yeah, so I did find a cool tram spot. I just wanted to note that going to Budapest, I had literally zero plans. I went there and I waddled away, and I found a lot of cool stuff just having a laid-back walk, such as this area near Margate Island. If you take a closer look, you can see just how many opportunities for filming there are. You have a tram underpass overpass here to the right. You have various switches and places going across, and then you even have a one-track spur connecting two lines, one of which has a sharp turn and the other one of which goes straight. Very cool to see. On top of that, this area has a lot of stations because this is a part where routes split off and where transfers can be caught. Now let's take a look at it in real life. Here we have a Tatra going south down the northern street and skipping the connector to take a turn. Just listen to it. Also, notice the only one side tram stop and the pedestrian and bike only zone. Very cool and unique. Once again a Tatra, but pulling into the one-way connector. And of course, you can't miss the awesome folding doors with the stairs. And once again, this is a one-way only path, and they put one here so that people could catch connections to other trams before the tram continues straight on. Another thing I like about the Tatras here are the white and yellow split with the dark yellow separating it. Now you can notice the kind of action I was talking about. Also notice how only the right track has merging and splitting. Here is a prime example of Budapest's incredible rolling stock with the ability to traverse tight turns and still smoothly glide. And even away from this tram intersection, there's still more unique splits. And over here, you have a nice pre-station switchover system for trains needing to swap directions. On top of that, I really do like the guns and their retro look, along with the lovely little turn signals. Quite the feature. Furthermore, these are incredible because they've withstood the test of time.
So a great thing about this part of the neighborhood, besides the old trolley streets, which I absolutely love and adore, is that they created these running lanes made out of very soft rubber, which is perfect because it creates a great area for people to run in because they want to encourage jogging and sports like that. And this is the first time I've ever seen this in a city, and I think that that's wonderful as a person who runs. I think that such implementation could be very useful. And even a better thing is that you have this park that's fenced off once again for the safety of children and dogs and such. It's wonderful. They have things like the rules and what times they close, and even instructions or things for mothers and children, and bike parking and bike lanes and a tram stop right nearby, along with the running lane and a dog park next to the riverside. I mean, what more could you ask for? You have beautiful buildings. This is an absolutely wonderful neighborhood in the heart of Budapest.